When the music stops. No music. Hello. I guess I'm on live now. My name is Henry Threadgill. I'm a musician and composer. I live here in New York City. I'm originally from Chicago. This is a broadcast that I'm doing for my good friend Gail Boyd. And I have a little prompter in my hand with some questions that I'm asking myself. I often ask myself questions. This first question is how did I get started in jazz? I think the bigger question is how did I get started in music? I got started in music just listening to the radio as a kid because the radio was full of all kinds of music in Chicago. And I mean all kinds of music, all kinds of different ethnic music, Polish music, Serbian music, different type of genres of black music, classical, European classical music, and also what would be Appalachian music, what we call hillbilly music, which became known as country and western. So that's how I got started. So jazz was something that came later. Actually, I started listening to the radio, listening to boogie woogie, piano playing. Albert Ammons, Gene Ammons' father, and me, Lux Lewis. These were famous pianists that played boogie woogie. And I would sit and wait for that to come on the radio daily when I was a kid. I mean, really small, 3 years old. And I taught myself to play the piano by trying to emulate this music. Later on, by the time I got up into, I don't know, sixth, seventh grade, and I started taking piano lessons, but I knew how I was familiar with the piano. Um, but this piano lessons weren't successful. I didn't really like the piano teacher. She was more intimidating. She was more intimidating than a really good teacher. And by the time I graduated from grammar school, I started playing saxophone. And it was from there that my whole direction changed. But even when I first taught myself the piano, I was interested in playing the boogie woogie and playing the piano. But what I was really interested in was how was music made. I've always been concerned about how music was made, not just how to play an instrument. That was never my objective. I always wanted to know how to compose. That was from day one. So that's been a continuous journey. Uh, how to write music and think about music structurally. One of the prompt questions I had was, who was the first jazz musician I remember hearing? What I heard, that's hard to, I'm not really sure because I used to see a lot of, it could have been Count Basie's band, or could have been Louis Jordan band, or could have been Duke Ellington's band, because they all played live at the movie theaters. When I was a kid, my mother would take me and my sister to the movie theaters to see the bands. These bands just continued on into high school, and we saw all of the groups like Art Blakey, Jazz Messengers, Miles Davis Quintet. the Jazz had all these things were going on at the Regal Theater and the Met, and also what was it the Tivoli Theater. These were places where we went to see the music when I was a kid, and also the Chicago Theater and the State and Lake Theater when I was a small kid. That's where these shows were. Um, the Let me see, what is this about? Who was the first jazz musician? But the first jazz musician I remember seeing up close was like when I first started high school. I went up to the high school I was going to, and it was a concert in the middle of the week, and it was Stan Getz and Chet Baker and some other musicians from Chicago. That was like on a Tuesday or Wednesday night. It cost about 15 or 20 cents or something like that. It was unbelievable. Um, but I was out listening to music when I was a kid. When I got to high school, I was out every night listening to music. I was I would leave my mother's house. I would climb out the window just about at least 4 or 5 nights out of the week after everybody went to sleep and make my way to 63rd and Cottage Grove where all the music was. And I heard everybody up there: Dexter Gordon, Gene Ammons, Miles Davis, Sonny Rollins. Anybody, I met Coltrane when I was, 15 and a half, you know, at McKee's. You know, it was Birdland, it was the Persian. We used to go every week to see Sun Ra. Sun Ra would play downstairs in the Persian lounge, and Ahmad Jamal would be upstairs. So this was like a nightly event for me, to be out meeting these musicians and listening to them. I had to take my saxophone with me to get in all. If I had my saxophone with me, they would let me in. You know, they knew me, and they would just let me in anyway. In all the clubs, different places like that. I mean, there was so many places from what was King Drive all the way to the lake. It was unbelievable. The Kit Clack Club, the casino, Railroad Hall. It just went on and on and on. Trianon Ballroom, CNCs. It was just one place after the other. It was a lot like 52nd Street was in New York. So when I got back to Chicago after I was in the service, and I came back to Chicago and I formed my first group, Air. We started working around Chicago for a theater company, doing a live show with a theater company. And then we came to New York in around 74, 75, and things just clicked for us right away. I remember I came to New York in 1969 just to check it out. And what I decided was, I said, I'm not going to go to New York and try to be no side man. I'm not going to get in that fray, the competition of being the best player to get in X, Y, Z band, you know. So I said, when I go back to New York, I'm going with my own band and playing my own music. I decided that from the very beginning. And I remember Eddie Harris, the great Eddie Harris, told me, he said, hey, you know, do you really want to be a band leader? He said, if you're going to be a band leader, nobody's going to call you to do any sideman work. I said, I don't plan on doing any sideman work in the first place. But I did do some sideman work with the people I really wanted to work with, like Howard McGee, Mario Bowser's orchestra, and Cecile Taylor. Those were the most important people that I came to New York to play with, besides Muhal Richard Abrams, who was already in Chicago, you know. But the other, I didn't really come to New York to, like I said, to get out there and see if I was the fastest gun alive, so to speak. Let's see, what else do I have here? My current projects. Well, I have one current project. It's been going on for a couple of years. It's in California, in the Bay Area, and it's with Hope Moore. She's a choreographer. She has a dance company, and another artist named Dana Mattis. She makes clay pools, Pools. I know you never heard of it, but it's beautiful artwork. And we've been working on a piece called Passages for the last couple of years, 3 years almost now, because it got interrupted by this whole COVID activity. But we're still at it, and we will be resuming it later this year or by the beginning of next year. I'll start going back to California to work on it. Besides that piece, I'm doing a multimedia piece at Roulette. That's in Brooklyn. I think it's May 22, 23, or 2021 of next year. This is like I said, a multimedia piece that involves a film that I made. It's two nights. There's a film that I made in the 11-piece orchestra. I think it's 11 pieces. Yes, 2021 at Roulette. And it's a book. It's based on a book that I've been making. I'm going to perform this book. I'm going to be reading from the book and improvising what will be projected up on the screen. There's writings in the book that will be put up on the screen, and I'll be reading that and improvising it simultaneously. And then that would be offset by photographs that I shot all of last year during the COVID period. The name of this book is Immigration or Return of the Cheap Suit. And what it's a depiction of the people that abandoned New York and all of the material and personal goods that they left in the streets, on the sidewalks, in front of buildings, personal material that I was taking pictures of. So that's going on, and it's also based on some studies. I picked up some studies from the late great Milford Graves. Milford Graves died early this year in February of stiffness of the heart, and he had been investigating and researching his heart for a number of years, and basically kept himself alive for about 12 years when doctors gave up on him. The things that some of the technical equipment that he was using, like transducers and tone generators, I'm picking that material up to work on it and use it in a different way. And I'm also going to be using something that he was like propagating for the longest, that musicians learn how to play according to their own heartbeat. So I'm actually writing music for 4 people in this ensemble based on their heartbeat. I'm doing another piece in June at Orchestra Hall in Detroit with Zuid, my group Zuid, which is a 5-piece group, plus 2 string quartets and a percussionist. That piece also will be based on the heartbeats of the 5 musicians in Zuid. So this whole period right now is like I'm kind of turning the corner into some new areas with researching people's heartbeats and writing music to, around, and against their heartbeats, and finding out what all of this means, adds up to, and what it reveals to me. I learned a long time ago that you have to continuously become a teacher, or to teach yourself, and a researcher. If you're the type of person that goes forward in time. I'm not a stylist as such. There's nothing wrong with being a stylist, but I've always been interested in new frontiers, and research, and going forward with music. And that's what I'm continually working on. Let's see now. What do I have here? What encouragement do I have for young people? Work. There's no substitute for work. That's what you have to continue to do. Work is a good word. It's not a bad word. Like Studs Terkel always talks about work, and not to work and forget about failure. Matter of fact, failure is good. Failure is the best motivator in the world. When you fail, then you'll go back and really get it right. But in the arts, you don't have to worry about grades as such. So failure doesn't mean anything. See, it just means that you need to get up and go back and really get something right. So that's my only advice. And what did I do during the pandemic? What did I do? I walked every day, took a exercise, walked every day, and I started like taking photographs of New York City, and I began to write about my feelings, what I was experiencing as people would exit this exodus from the city. I started to write about it, and I developed this book. I'm planning on having it published next year also. Um, so let me see. I think I have a few questions here from France. Let me see here. Peace and I don't know if I see any questions. I don't know. Do I have to touch something or what? I don't know how this works. Nope. I think this is just people checking in. But like I said, these three projects I'm totally consumed by. I don't really have time for anything else. Um, I will play at the end of the year though at the Jazz Gallery. That's what the trio that I play with sometimes, Daphnis Prieto and VJR. We play. We've been playing together for a few years now. Every now and then we'll play a concert, you know. And this is more or less like a benefit type of concert for Jazz Gallery, who I've been associated with for a very long time, since they were down on Greenwich Street, and been on their consulting board, things like that. Someone's asked me, when am I coming to the Bay Area? I don't know yet. I don't know exactly when I'll be there, but I will get there. I hope to get there maybe in November. We'll see. You know. Someone wants to know, can I talk about the book? The only thing I can say about the book is like full of type of prose poetry that I've been writing. It's kind of automatic writing, what they call automatic writing, and it's like I said, I see things in the street where people have abandoned very expensive clothing and different types of material like that. That's been left in the street, so I photographed it and what struck me was I said, why are things like that sitting in the street and nobody's picking it up? I even saw money in the street, nobody picked it up. Well, the thing is, there was no homeless people last year. We didn't see any homeless people. Where were they? They were in hotels. So they would have picked up a lot of some of these very expensive clothing and other household items that was just left in the street. So my writings is a reaction to that. Um, and it started off, like I said, as a book, and then it developed into the idea of me performing the book, you know. And like I said, it opens with a film. There's a film each night. I made a film in two different galleries. One film was in the Tilton Gallery, and the other film was in the Augustine Mclaurin Gallery. I shot that about 3 years ago, approximately 2.5 to 3 years ago. And they're about 18 minutes long, and each film opens each night. The choreography of the pictures, the photographs, I'm getting a special person to choreograph that, different from the arrangement in the book. So there'll be a different arrangement each night. The music will be different each night too. Different because I write music that is modular. I can move it around. In other words, I can move my thumb to where my little finger is, and from my little finger where my thumb is. So this is what each night is different. Like I said, the first night is called One, and the second night is called The Other One. The film from the first night is different from the film in the second night, which is in a different gallery. And that's a live event to that film. And I'm in this film playing music, and it's a lot of commentary in the film. And there's some other things going on. I don't want to say too much more about it, you know. Let's see here. Eager to see those photos in your automatic writing. The audio-visual project. Somebody's asking about the audio-visual project. This audio-visual project is something new that I'm engulfing on. It started with me making these films because I wanted to do something that's more sustainable and something that has more spin-off rather than just doing a record. Both nights is going to be recording, so the recordings will come out as on Pirate Records as a live recording from 2 different nights, right? Then I will still have the film that will be that I hope to have distributed around the country as a short film, and then the entire night I plan on videotaping the entire night. So that means the entire night now will also be available as a piece of something that can be shown in different galleries, theaters, wherever. But that will be minus the film. It would just be the concert itself. And then I'm going to have a remix of the first night by 2 different artists and a remix of the second night by 2 different artists. And the book coming out. So you have the book, you have the 2 films, you have the 2 videos, you have the 2 live concerts, and then there will be the 2 remixes. So this is all a part of the idea of sustainability and being able to get more out of just one thing rather than keep coming up with a lot of different new material all the time to see how you can, just like a tree, how you can branch it, make branches. Somebody asked me any chance of collaborating with Cecile, Mclaurin, Solomon. I don't know. I haven't met her yet. Possibly, who knows what the future holds. Do I work with a particular booking agent, or do you do? I have an agent in Europe, and I have a different agent here, and I use different people to help me with different things, lawyers and managers that help me with different things. If you go to my website, I think could be some information there about that. Maurice Montoya, he books me a lot of times in the United States. And yeah, that's about, let me see, Jazz Gallery and calendar. Like I said, oh yeah, I forgot, the Charlie Parker Festival, I'm doing a salon. I think that's not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday is 20-something, whatever that is, the 22nd, 24th. I'm doing a salon over there. And the salon is something that I'm very interested in. This is concerning Charlie Parker. Me and 2 other people are going to be discussing Charlie Parker and playing some music. Well, the Baker's Dozen is one of my other projects. I haven't said anything about that. That's my big project involving 13 sound artists and 13 visual artists in a box set of 13 12 by 12 pieces of artwork and 13 recordings. And we're going to do 9 box sets of this in CD form and 9 box sets in vinyl form. And that's going to start, hopefully, we're going to, December, we plan on launching this in December. And then the Baker's Dozen, we plan on opening up Baker's Dozen and listening salons all over the United States. Hopefully we'll have at least 1,000 listening salons in the 50 states. And then we're going to branch out from there, see where we can do this in the rest of the world. So each box set will be played, will be sold to venues, and people will come to listen to at least maybe two artists per night as they present them. Yes, the 24th, I think it is. Yeah, at 7:00, and this is in collaboration with the Charlie Parker Festival that's held every year. And and I think they're going to be streaming this too. Jaleel Shaw, I don't know who all is in this now. I know Miguel was Zonan was supposed to be in it, but I think he had to back out because he's traveling or something to that effect. So I don't know who the other two people are that's in that panel, but I look forward to it being enjoyable, to talk about Charlie Parker from different viewpoints. And each person is presenting one piece of music of Charlie Parker's to talk about it. So again, my projects are my dance projects. I've always been involved in dance for most of my professional life. I was always involved in theater and dance in Chicago. I worked with a lot of dance companies and theater companies, mostly avant-garde. And so it's that. I'm still with the dance program in California. And Zuit, my regular group, will be playing in June with a double string quartet. And then I'll be presenting this new ensemble when I do the piece at Roulette in May. That would be the music from that piece is in tribute. It's a tribute to Milford Graves. I'm dedicating the music part of it, to Milford Graves. To his, he should go into the arts and letters and science institute for the work that he did. He's a pioneer. He opened up the door to some very critical thinking in terms of music, as far as I'm concerned. Let me see, Carolyn Davis and Goodwin Lewis, up in the Baker's Dozen. You have so many. What's this Baker's Dozen? Yeah, the Baker's Dozen, like I said, is 13 sound designers, I call them, and 13 visual artists. So and what we plan on doing is issuing 9 box sets. And one box set will go to the Actors Fund in Englewood, New Jersey. That's what we're planning on sending. That's our plan, is to donate one box set with all of the artwork and the music to them, and to donate a box set without the artwork to the Actors Fund home in Los Angeles, so that the people that go there, because they're inclusive. You don't have to be an actor. You can be you could be a bookbinder. You could be working in the back of a museum. You could be a record producer. A backstage worker. Everybody that's in the field of the arts is a candidate for the Actors Fund. So we just thought you will have a higher quality of life if you had to go to a place like that, and had a library of music. In a total of 117 recordings would be in there. After we issue the 9 box sets, that's 117 recordings, and 39 pieces of artwork from some of the greatest artists in the world, in terms of painters and other visual artists, photographers, etc. So that's the gist of the Baker's Dozen. That keeps me pretty busy. Fortunately, I don't have to write music for it. So with that, let me see if there's any other questions here. We have talked a bit about, thank you. I want to thank Gail for having me on here. Gail has been a great source of inspiration, a great help during this period that we're in. Very talented, gifted person. I'm so proud to be a friend of hers and associate. And I would say, look into on these broadcasts as much as you can. I'm sure she's going to be presenting more people that with interesting ideas about the arts. The arts is everything. That's the only thing I can think of that's civilized and civilizes people. It keeps down division and move people towards something more spiritual in life. Okay, well, I'll just say, have a good evening, a great weekend and a great rest of the summer, and stay extremely safe. Ciao, ciao.